Well, hello and welcome to the Shifts and Pucks Newspack for Monday, October the 17th. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter as Shifts and Pucks, Facebook.com Shifts and Pucks, YouTube.com Shifts and Pucks, Twitch.com Shifts and Pucks. Subscribe wherever you get your audio, as well as on the Area 51 Sports Network. As it will be tonight, the Vancouver Canucks will be taking on the Washington Capitals, and it will be Sean and crew doing the podcast after the game tonight. So join them for that as they will review the game, dive into what's going on with the Canucks. And then I will be back on Thursday, and we will be discussing before the Flames play the Buffalo Sabres. We'll be doing a pregame podcast to cover the Flames, and that's going to be kind of the schedule kind of going forward here. Canucks early, Flames a little later, and then we'll go ahead with that as we go on here. As we'll just recap what happened in Philadelphia on Saturday. Again, jumped out to the lead, and again, like similar to the Oilers, they had a multi-goal lead, and then just could not hold it, and ended up losing the game to the Flyers. So they are coming in 0-2 and losing 3-2 to the Flyers. You had, Kyle Burroughs, Connor Garland scoring goals. Thought Kyle Burroughs was one of the better players for the Canucks in that game. And then you had, and then from there you kind of go from there and just get off to another good start, and the Flyers were able to continue and move on to the win. You get Scott Laughton having a big game. You get others having a good game as well, and you had that shorthanded goal, the 2 straight games now. But for the first 2 games here, they allow a shorthanded goal against the Oilers. It was a 3-on-1, and then on Saturday you allow a breakaway shorthanded goal as well, and kind of doesn't help your situation doing that as well. And as we go here, just to go through the scoring, as we'll take a look at the 9 games, by the way, tonight. We'll look at the 3 stars of the week, and as well as other things going on. But let's go through that summary here, just go through what happened here. Canucks Flyers, you get, of course, as I said, led away here. Kyle Burroughs and Connor Garland score in the first. Burroughs at 134 from Besser and Pearson. Garland from Podkolzin and Shen. And then a power play goal, Tony DeAngelo from Van Riemsdyk and Kevin Hayes. And then Scott Laughton, that's the shorthanded one from Travis Konecny. Konecny then has a goal and assist. He scores at 13:53, and the Flyers are 2-0 to start the year. I don't think a lot of people were expecting that from the Flyers. They outshot the Canucks 31-30. They outhit the Canucks 23-20. Canucks won the faceoff circle 27-25. Canucks 1 for 13 combined at the start of the season on the power play. 1 for 8 against the Oilers. 0 for 5 against the Flyers, and 14 takeaways by the Flyers in that game as well. You get the lead. You got to hold leads. It's tough. I know we're in an era where it's tough to hold leads in the National Hockey League. But you gotta kind of lock that down. You have to lock that down. And so the Canucks heading to Washington, Columbus, back-to-back situation, and here tonight and tomorrow in Columbus. And so the line's looking at this point here. So, and I guess there'll be a few questions to get into tonight. We'll get to the Washington's lineup here as well. But the lines looks like it's Miller, Podkolzin, Garland, Horvat, Pearson, Besser. So there's some change there. Pedersen, Kuzmenko, Lazar with Mikheyev looking like he's going to be going there. And then you got Amon, Joshua, Hoglander, Mikheyev not expected to play tonight. Probably will play tomorrow is what it's looking like. And so that's where we're at there in terms of that. And it looks like Noel Juleson will draw into the lineup tonight. No Jack Rathbone. Jack Rathbone has not played yet this season. He's up with the team, but they haven't played him yet. So that's here. As Harman Dio said, here tweeted, Boudreau says Mikheyev won't play tonight, but he thinks Mikheyev can play against Columbus or Minnesota. So he's close. He's going to play on this road trip. Ilya Mikheyev, the free agent signing of the offseason, will make his debut here at some point. So, and it looks like Thatcher Demko getting that call and goal. So, pretty, you're facing two teams here in the next 2 days. Columbus comes in 0-3. He's yet to win. Washington struggling. These are, I don't think you can come out from these two games 0-2. I think you at least have to split. You would love to get 2, but you at least have to split these next 2 games, Washington, Columbus. And then later on, you got Minnesota, who's stumbling along here as well. So there's an opportunity here for the Canucks to right this ship. Here, they're off to a slow start, but the teams that they're facing are off to slow starts here before they hit before they end up at home at Buffalo. So it'll be very interesting to see what their record is when they come to their home opener in Buffalo. Again, Sean, Chris, crew will discuss it tonight. The podcast, post-game podcast, Canucks Capitals. As for the Calgary Flames, of course, they had their Battle of Alberta game Saturday against the Edmonton Oilers. They got off to a quick start with the 4-1 lead. Michael Stone got 3 points. Nazem Kadri scored a really nice goal. Andre Mangiapane scored a nice goal. And then the Oilers, you get a power play, and they just take advantage, whether you think that these calls are soft or not. If you give the Oilers a power play advantage, they are deadly and are going to take advantage of it. And they are probably the best team at moving that puck around on the power play. They move it fast, they move it quick, and it's hard to contribute. It's hard to stop. But so the Oilers get to 4-3. But I thought the Flames took over. They get a power play. They don't score on it, but it helps that momentum. And they ended up out shooting the Oilers in the third period. Zach Hyman did get the last second shot. And a surprising start from Dan Vladar. And the Calgary Flames come away with a 4-3 win to start 2-0 on the year. Daryl Sutter said there was a lot of good things that they did. There's still a lot of things that need to be worked on. A couple of things he talked about. Thinks Kadri's wingers, Dubé and Mangiapane need to work a little bit more. He also thinks Kevin Rooney needs to get his legs under him. I think that Rooney line, Rooney Lucic and Richie line has been solid. I think the Kadri, Dubé, Mangiapane line has been solid as well. And there's definitely some chemistry on that Dubé, Kadri, Mangiapane line. So that's a line that can grow. Still think that they are needing a little bit more for working a little bit more with that Lindholm, Huberdeau, Toffoli line. I still think they're trying to get their legs under them. But they have another tough test indeed. I think a lot of people, including myself, underestimated the Vegas Golden Knights in the offseason and what happened. But they are not, everyone else wants a Battle of Alberta in the playoffs at some particular point in time. Everyone else is expecting a Battle of Alberta at some point in time. The Vegas Golden Knights are not interested in that at all, the way that they're playing. They're off to a 3-0 start. They have allowed 3 goals. They are really looking good right now. Really, looked good against Seattle. Got a goal right off to 10 seconds in. Question their goaltending. They're figuring it out right now. They're off to a great start. That's going to be a really good game tomorrow. Golden Knights and the Flames going in. Maintenance day, Flames. The only news here for today was, their lines were pretty much the same. They didn't do anything too different there. In terms of the lineup, it was Lindholm practice today. It was Hanovan getting a maintenance day. Lindholm, Huberdeau, Toffoli, Kadri, Dubé, Mangiapane, Backlund, Coleman, Lewis, Rooney, Lucic, and Ritchie, and then Ruzicka. And then your pairings were Uyghur, Tanev, McKay, Connor Mackey stepping in, and then Noah Hannafin up with Rasmus S. Anderson, and then Zadorov and Stone. And so that's where the Flames are at here. So they're off to do a 2-0 start. The first time since 2009 they're off to a 2-0 start. As for the Oilers, had Jack Campbell chased from the game, not off to, allowing in both games, allowed early goals. I've allowed teams to jump on them. They're very fortunate to come back and win against the Canucks. They got back in the game. They got some really good goaltending from Stuart Skinner, I thought, to get them back in the game. But it's interesting how much that they will rely on McDavid and Draisaitl a lot, but they are going to need other contributors here. It cannot just be McDavid and Draisaitl for the Oilers. All as great as they are, they're going to need something else. They're going to have to get everything else. That back end, I still don't think is quite there, but there's some things to work on if you're in Edmonton as well. Not that the Flames are flawless right now. Still think they got things to work on, but in Edmonton it will be interesting to see what's going on here as well. Let's just finish up on this part before we get to the preview tonight. The 3 stars of the week. First one's out and here this week, and 35-year-old Sidney Crosby is the first star. The Penguins are off to 2-0 start. They are looking really good. He goal and 2 assists against the Coyotes, and then a goal and 2 assists against the Tampa Bay Lightning as well. And so Crosby's off to a fantastic start. And so are the Penguins. The Penguins are looking really good. So Chris Crosby's the number 1 star. Second star is Connor McDavid. It probably really put him in anywhere as the season goes on, obviously. He had a hat trick against the Canucks. He then and was in on 4 of the 5 goals, and he also scored a goal against the Flames. Ryan McLeod's goal was the first goal that did not involve a McDavid or a Draisaitl in the point. That third goal. 6 of the goals, 6 of the Oiler goals, 8 goals scored by the Oilers, 7 McDavid and Draisaitl. So that's what I'm talking about. It's great that they're involved in everything, but you're going to need other contributions without McDavid and Draisaitl to get going here. So Connor McDavid, though, second star, off to a great start. Third star is Jake Ottinger from the Dallas Stars. Of course, we know he had a great playoff. A lot of people wondered what he would be like to start the year, and the Dallas Stars, where the Stars would be. But Pete DeBoer, in his first year in a new organization, he can build a team up. And Ottinger 2-0, 1 goal against average, .963 save percentage, stopped 60 of 62 shots, 4-1 win over Nashville on the 13th, 5-1 win in the home opener as well. So Ottinger off to a great start. So again, the 3 stars are Crosby number 1, McDavid number 2, Ottinger number 3. And as for the games tonight, we've got 9 games in the National Hockey League tonight. We've got the Anaheim Ducks taking on the New York Rangers. here. That's one. The Rangers are off to a good start here as well, and the that will be interesting here. Rangers looking good in a very tough Metropolitan Division. They're 2-1 to start the year, lost to Winnipeg. Anaheim coming into this game 1-1. Then you've also got the Arizona Coyotes taking on Toronto Maple Leafs. The Leafs have won 3 in a row. Matt Burry in LTIR out for 4 weeks. So this is Leah Samsona's opportunity to rise and shine. But they're playing the Coyotes. The Florida Panthers are taking on the Boston Bruins. The Bruins are off to a good start. Surprisingly good start. I thought the Bruins would be a bit of a struggle, but they're off to a 2-0 start. Same with the Panthers. So those two teams are keeping going, and I guess it's the first time that Matthew Tkachuk and can make friends with the Boston Bruins. So that will be also interesting as well to see how that goes. Then, as well, Pittsburgh, Sidney Crosby playing in Montreal. No Jake Allen for the Canadiens as he's on parental leave. Jeff Petrie making his return as was traded to Pittsburgh. The Penguins are off to a great start, as mentioned, 2-0. Montreal so far got the win against the Leafs in the home opener in the opening night, but have lost 2 since. And of course, you got Vancouver, Washington. The LA Kings are taking on Detroit tonight. The Kings are 1-2 to start the year, and Detroit, they got the win against Montreal on Friday. They're actually 2-0, so they're off to a pretty good start as well. They've only allowed 2 goals so far. Detroit quietly sneaking up on you there. Colorado taking on Minnesota. Colorado 1-1. Minnesota is really struggling here. Allowed 14 goals in 2 games. 0-2. Rossi's going to be a scratch. Fleury's not going to play. There's not a good start in Minnesota, so probably not saying it's a must-win game against Colorado, but you've got to start turning that around pretty quick if you're Minnesota, especially in that Central Division right now. And then you got Winnipeg against Dallas, and Winnipeg has played 1 game. They looked pretty good against the New York Rangers for the most part. And then you got Dallas is off to a 2-0 start, as mentioned, with Jake Ottinger there as well. And then you got the Carolina Hurricanes taking on the Kraken. Home opener. They've started 1-1. The Carolina is on there at 2-0. So that's the slate of games. 9 games on Monday Night Hockey tonight. Looking at elsewhere, some of the other things here. Some of the other news here we'll just touch on. Tyler Bertuzzi out 4 to 6 weeks for the Detroit Red Wings. He got hurt blocking a shot against the Devils and this weekend. And so he's out with 4 to 6 weeks. Jacob Vrana is out personal reasons, so he will not play tonight against the Kings. You've also got Rasmus Ristolainen placed on IR for the Flyers, and he missed the first 2 games with an undisclosed injury. He's placed on an IR with a lower body injury. So they've recalled Zach McEwen and Louis Belpedio from Lehigh Valley to cover that. Tucker Pullman, by the way, just back to the Canucks, won't play tonight against the Capitals. He got, because of an illness, he should play against Columbus. So that's why Noel Juleson's going into the lineup there. And then as well, you've got Sammy Blaze should play tonight for the Rangers against the Ducks. And Dan Renouf will replace Brandon. Carlo will make his season debut. Carlo out because of an upper body injury. And that's the injury news of the day in the National Hockey League. Sonny Milano signed a one-year contract with the Capitals this weekend. He did clear waivers today, so he's starting in the American Hockey League with there. But Milano, of course, got the tryout with the PTO with the Calgary Flames. They moved on from him. By the way, Cody Eakin signed in, I want to say, Switzer. Let me confirm that here. Signed in Switzerland after his PTO. So that's what's happening with Cody Eagle. But Sonny Milano with the Washington Capitals organization on a one-year deal. No games tonight in the WHL, 2 games tomorrow. Connor Bedard, of course, is a story here. 20 points, but let's get to the player of the week. It's Lucas Ciona, Flames draft pick, 11 points in 3 games for the Seattle Thunderbirds. And goalie of the week is Carson Yarnason from the Brandon Wheat Kings. 3 games, 1.67 goals against average, and a .957 save percentage. And as well, just looking AHL-wise, Wranglers had their home opener debut this weekend, yesterday, against they played the Kraken farm team, the Coach Valley Firebirds, and they play tonight as well, 7 o'clock at the Saddledome, by the way, and the 6-5 Coach Valley won. As for the games tonight, 2 games tonight, you've got Coach Valley against Calgary, and then you've got Wilkes-Barre Scranton taking on the Utica Comets. And just to touch on OHL, let's see what we got here. We're going to add the OHL in the queue to this a little bit as well. One of by the way, their player of the week, Matthew Maggio, is a player of the week. He's for the Windsor Spitfires, 7 points in 3 games. Goalie of the week is Ivan Zygolov of the Kingston Frontenacs there. And no games until Wednesday. And in the queue, we've got just looking here. Looking at the queue, we've got no games until Wednesday as well, and going on there. So that will keep us going there. So that will be our news for today. Of course, you can, again, reminder, the podcast, Sean and Chris and crew tonight. After the Canucks Capitals game, you can follow us all individually on Twitter. Sean Beardy, Canucks03, Chris Schneid's, SCHNEIDZ, Tyler TNOBLE, Devin Gordhouse09, I am KEVOLE. Also, reminder for more Flames content, Fireside Podcast. They record on Sundays. They will be releasing their episode today. Check them out. Check out Fireside Podcast. Dan Stevenson, Matt DeBorg. Follow them on Twitter as well, and wherever you get your fine podcasts. I am KEVOLE, Shifts and Pucks, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Subscribe wherever you got your audio, as well as on the Area 51 Sports Network. Thank you for watching and listening. We will talk to you all very soon. Bye for now.